Okay, here we go. Take two. So, making our shoe, you have your shoe drawing and your big paper. So, I know this is going to sound very tricky, but you just have to go step by step and give me a little bit of trust. So, we're using the grid method to draw our shoe bigger on the paper, and this is a tool that's going to help you. Even though it's a little tedious to get it all laid out, it is here to help you. So once you have your shoe drawn or traced on the 9x6 grid, you can label it like I did. I did 1 through 6, and then A through I on the top. If that doesn't help you, that's fine. You don't have to do it. But if you look, each box is 1 inch by 1 inch around. So every square has 1 inch sides. And then the grid we're going to do on our big piece of paper is going to have squares that are 2 inches by 2 inches because we want our shoe to be twice as big. Yeah. So you need to measure carefully. You need to use a ruler or it's not going to work the way that you want it to. And the math on this is because the small grid is 9x6. If we write that as a fraction, it's 9/6. And because we want to make our image twice as big, we're multiplying it by 2, which will give you the same size as the big piece of paper that I gave you, which is 18 by 12. So use your ruler, make sure you're lining up everything correctly, and you are just doing a little mark every 2 inches. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Is your ruler going to reach all the way to the end of the 18-inch paper? Nope, you're going to have to slide it down and measure the rest of it. You want to do all 4 sides, add your little marks, double check when you're measuring before you draw lines. And then when you're ready, you can start to draw the grid. I'm going to speed this up so you can see it. I am going to label my big grid just because I think it helps me with the numbers and letters. You don't have to. If you hate that, that's fine. Do whatever works best for your brain. But now I can tell, in case I get confused, that this square, for example, is, B1 or A1, C3, etc., etc. Because you're just focusing on one square at a time. Don't look at the whole shoe. Try not to get overwhelmed. If you draw one square at a time, it's gonna turn out okay. And if it helps, you can even split all of these smaller squares into 4 quadrants. That way you can see where lines are in relation to the middle of the square, where they are towards the edges, and it's going to help you visualize how to draw it on the bigger squares. For example, I can see these small lines start underneath the middle line. They go through where those lines meet in the middle and then up to that top corner. So when I draw it on the big square, I can split those quadrants again, nice and lightly, and then kind of go through the middle of where those lines meet and up to that top corner. Take your time on this. I know it's going to take a while, and I know it's tedious, but they're going to look really cool when you're finished. So now you can see that I've been drawing my shoe. I kind of just have been hopping from square to square all over, not going in a particular order. I think this helps my shoe look more cohesive in the end, but you can do it however works best for you. I'm just gonna let you watch a little bit in real time, and then I'm gonna speed it up so we can move on to the next step. All right, once you're happy with your drawing, you can go in with a big eraser and start to erase all those grid lines. Be careful, don't erase your shoe lines, just the grid lines. Take your time, make sure to hold your paper down. So take your time on this, make sure to hold your paper down so you don't rip it. Either erase in one direction or really hold it down if you're going to be rubbing the eraser back and forth. I'm going to speed this up because I think you guys get it, and then we'll move on to tracing our lines in Sharpie. So as you can see, I traced all my lines with a thin Sharpie, and I'm gonna go over it with a big eraser and erase all those pencil lines so that once I paint, it is very crisp and there's not pencil lines hiding beneath the paint. I suggest you do that as well because after you paint, you really can't go back in and erase pencil lines. All right, on to painting. So I have some examples here, and just like these friends practiced from light to dark, great job. I chose blue as well, just like all of these examples. Remember that you have to do 5 different values. That includes white and black. If you want to do more, like Reed did right here, that's fantastic. But you are required to do 5, which really only means 3 different shades of your chosen color. And for this, you're going to want a bunch of brushes of different sizes. Probably the smaller ones are going to help you with those little details. I have a whole bunch right here, my paint palette, and I'm going to get started with mixing. All right, so I've got a whole bunch of white, my blue, and a little bit of black, just like when you guys painted the value scale. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a few different shades of blue so that I have them ready to go, so that I don't have to keep remixing as I'm painting. So I'm putting a little bit of the blue in a few different wells in my palette and adding a lot, a little of white or black, depending on how light or dark I want my color to be. All right. And as I finish this up, please don't forget that you have to do a background of some kind. It is up to you how you do it. I chose to do a contrasting color to my blue shoes